Hello Internet, present Taliesin here to introduce past Taliesin, specifically Taliesin from the last episode of the weekly reset. Maybe you've seen it. There was a whole bit that you didn't. We had a huge section in the last reset about Yberra and his tweet about boost runs and doing boost runs and the community's reaction to that and about boost runs in general and the WoW token. Oh, it was good, but we cut it. But it's here now for you to watch, so I hope you enjoy it with maybe some notes from future Taliesin as well. Oh yeah, I promised you a bit about Yberra tweeting about selling boost runs in Mythic Plus and Heroic Sanctum, didn't I? Okay. But actually it's kind of old news now, even if it does absolutely bring back into focus a debate that has been raging for, well, years. The boosting economy and specifically how it interacts with the WoW token, the ethics of that, and whether it makes WoW basically pay to win. And that's a subject that I am very interested in. We made a video about it a couple of years ago. I know Belilar did a big video on it a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, let's talk. So you know Yberra, he's the CEO, president, joint leader of Blizzard Entertainment in the wake of the harassment scandal. And it's very important you know this, he is one of us. And no, not because he joined in the staff walkout and seems like as decent a guy as a corporate guy really can be, because everyone knows we all only pretend to give a shit about that stuff. No, because he is a Mythic raider and runs high keys. One of us, one of us. He regularly delights the player base by tweeting about his raid and Mythic Plus nights. And yeah, fine, I know, but it is objectively better to have someone who loves and plays World of Warcraft in charge of Blizzard than not, you know? So awesome. Mike, though, inadvertently caused something of an incident last week when he tweeted about his raid and Mythic Plus sales run, as in boosting players through content, which is easy for Mike, obviously, because he's such a Chad and one of us, but which the boosting players would pay for the privilege of being carried through for in-game gold. This is a transaction which has always been part of World of Warcraft since day one, and in many ways is the very essence of a living MMO world and economy, an in-game exchange between players for in-game currency. Top-level raiders always need tons of gold because of their repairs. They don't necessarily have time to dedicate themselves to farming it, what with all the top-level raiding. Lots of other players who do have time to focus on gold making because they're not top-level raiders are willing to part with some of those riches to see the top-level content. So it makes sense. And in essence, I don't see anything wrong with boosting, even though I wouldn't do it myself, even though I was tempted when I was guildless and those WoD challenge mode weapons were a thing. So no judgment either way. Now, of course, these kind of sales runs don't always happen for in-game gold. More often than not, traditionally, they'll happen for actual, real-life money. And you can find countless sites offering such services in literally 1 second on Google. In fact, don't bother, because now I've said the words out loud, you will almost certainly get an ad for one such cash-boosting service playing on this video. And for that, I apologize, because we don't get to choose the ads, and that is bad, because cash boosts, like buying gold for cash, are against terms and conditions and bad for the game and a bannable for life offense. And sometimes run by some really shady people who you shouldn't trust with anything, like Chinese hackers, or even worse, and this isn't a joke, Steve Bannon. You will have to Google that one, I'm afraid, because I said this would be quick, okay? But please do, it's delicious. And even though buying gold and boosts for cash has always been a thing and always been against the rules, it was stemmed significantly by the introduction of the WoW token during Warlords of Draenor, which in allowing players to buy the token for cash and then sell it in-game to players for a set amount of gold, the buyers then being able to convert the token into a month's subscription or Battle.net balance, buying gold wasn't just legitimized and regulated, but the gold itself also gained some level of real-world value beyond what Steve Bannon would try and charge you for it. And that changes the nature of an in-game transaction for gold, doesn't it? Because yes, it was always the case that players were able to buy that gold with cash, but it wasn't allowed. It wasn't facilitated in the game. It was a bannable offense. Now it's a genuine mechanic that you can buy gold for cash from Blizzard and then use that gold to buy gear from the auction house or pay a baller Chad guild like Mike's to run you through top-level content. And in my opinion, that does make some elements of WoW fall under what I would describe as pay to win. The term pay to win is vague and generally open to interpretation. My advice when it comes to MMOs is not to get too caught up on the semantics of the word win, okay? I think most of us recognize it when we see it, especially in games that we don't like. Basically, if you can use money to legally just buy gear, or bag space, or skill increases, or faster mounts, or anything like that, that's what I would class as pay to win. And obviously not all pay to win aspects are equal. They exist on a scale, and the most egregious examples, like Black Desert's ghillie suit, are clearly much worse than the versions that don't matter at all, like Final Fantasy XIV's bike, which goes a little bit quicker than other mounts when you first get to a new zone for a little bit. Clearly these two things aren't comparable in terms of how much they impact the game and damage the game, even if they do exist on the same scale. Basically what I'm saying is, when it comes to talking about this, there needs to be some nuance. Because it's not black and white. And we really have to take these things on a case-by-case basis. Oh no! And here's the thing, cards on the table. Overall, I am in favor of the WoW token. Obviously, there are some bad points to it. It allows people to flat out buy gold, it potentially increases botting, and is probably one of the main reasons there is so much Mythic Plus carry spam in Group Finder. And yes, worst of all, it does introduce some pay-to-win elements into the game, which we'll get to later. And that sucks. But on the plus side, it is also incredibly consumer-friendly. Because of the WoW token, the people who play this game the most basically get to play for free, because they can pay for their subscription in-game gold. It means everything in the WoW store is available for in-game gold, from mounts to character transfers. And not just the WoW store, hardcore WoW players get to pay for expansions and other Blizz games and Hearthstone cards and whatever else, all with gold that they made killing dragons in a video game. And I think that's really cool. And I know there'll be people in the comments like, yeah, but Tally, Blizzard make money out of it. But a company making money off of a consumer-friendly product doesn't stop it being a consumer-friendly product. It either is or it isn't. And in my opinion, the WoW token is. But for me, the clincher as to why I'm overall in favor of the token, that if you got rid of the WoW token tomorrow, then nearly all of the cons, gold buying, botting, carries, and boosts, they would all still exist. They existed before, and they exist big time in Classic, where there is no token. All of the good things about it would disappear. And just to repeat, because that is quite important, the bad things that people associate with the token don't go away if you lose the token, but all of the good things do. And luckily, you're gonna like this. You don't have to agree with me. I'm not really trying to convince you, I'm just giving my opinion. And like I say, I can absolutely see both sides. You are not wrong if you feel differently to me. Overall, yeah, I'm in favor of it. But with that said, I think, unfortunately, there are some things that you simply cannot have in the game if the WoW token exists, like max item level bind on equip gear that can be sold on the auction house. Before the WoW token, being able to buy that stuff was just a perk of being a baller gold maker. Now, this is just max level gear that you can buy with money. That is pay to win for me. I would say that there's a fair shout for the very expensive base items for Shadowlands legendaries straying into that category too, being beyond max level items that most players will need a lot of gold to craft. I think these two things can definitely be described as pay to win elements that WoW has that have only become pay-to-win elements since the WoW token. And it's so easily solved. I just don't think that max-level bind-on-equip items and the WoW token can exist at the same time. And it's a shame, you know, but I would choose the WoW token in that case. So, what about boosts? That is a much grayer area for me, with a lot of nuance. Oh no! And I can absolutely understand people who insist that it's a bad thing. There's all that chat spam. There's people rocking ratings that aren't a real representation of their skill, which is mostly harmless. But when it comes to the pugging community, particularly in Mythic Plus, it's just really unhelpful, actually. There's the fact that a lot of the guilds advertising gold carry runs in Group Finder will also be very happy to take real cash from you if you don't have the gold, you know? Yeah, I know, I said it. Don't look so shocked. We all know it happens. I understand all those reasons. I don't disagree with them as problems. I do disagree with people getting angry because people have stuff they didn't earn, because A, frankly, I don't care, and it's none of my business how someone spends their time in game, and B, actually gold farming, playing the auction house is a totally legit way to play this game, and always has been. The assumption that someone didn't earn the gold that they're spending is going to be wrong a lot of the time. And I also can't shake that doubt of, like, when does boosting become bad and when is it okay? Because, you know, my guild probably boosts me in Raid and Mythic Plus. I say probably, I'm assuming so, because I'm basically terrible at all video games. There's not a gold transaction involved, but some of the people in my guild are much better than me. It's all a little bit more nuanced than literally buying gear with gold that you just bought with cash, you know? So I think if I had to answer the question, are boosts bad? I'd have to say, in principle, no. In the vast majority of cases, No. I guess what I'd have to say is that the semi-industrialization of the boost economy can be bad and could probably do with some regulation, which, if you know me, is kind of how I feel about a lot of things. Hello, future Taliesin here, which is why I'm wearing sunglasses, because we all wear sunglasses in the future. I just wanted to say that while we were putting this video together, Square Enix, who make Final Fantasy XIV, showed their hand and their opinion on boosts, which is quite handy. And the only reason I bring it up is because their opinion is boosts are generally okay, but with regulation. So their take is that they're okay with this transaction happening in-game for in-game currency, as long as the initial communication in in-game chat and group finder is from the person looking to buy the boost. So it's okay to go into chat and say, I'm looking to buy a boost, I have this much gil, who can help me out? What isn't allowed are the people selling the boosts to advertise their services in in-game chat. That has been banned. So yeah, they've basically done what I've suggested, and I'm very happy about that. Well done, Square Enix. The thing I'm most happy about, though, is that I can guarantee if Square Enix hadn't done that, then lots of you would have got to that part in the video and you'd have commented below going, Taliesin, what do you mean it's okay but needs some regulation? You're such an idiot. But now you have to think it's a good idea because Final Fantasy XIV did it, so... Okay, carry on. So, does Mike deserve the criticism that he got for revealing his guild's sales runs? I mean, it's something that top players do, right? And the thing we love about Mike is that he is an absolute Chad who plays the game at a high level, right? And he joined the walkout, but I know you don't care about that, sorry. At the same time, he's the CEO, president, joint leader of Blizzard. And so there is this vague, nagging recognition that he is kind of in charge of the store selling the WoW token, which people buy from his company for money and then turn into gold, and then they give that gold to him for a carry. And whereas I find accusations of conflict of interest a bit much, it is absolutely joke and meme worthy, and that it makes you go, huh, and that doesn't come from nowhere, you know? Like, Echo will sell you a boost for gold, but they don't run the store where you can buy the gold. Mike Yberra does. So it's not the same as one of us doing it, and I think there's been such a passionate reaction to this tweet because deep down we all realize that Mike Yberra isn't really one of us, is he? And I mean that in the nicest possible way. Everyone at Blizz seems to like him, he seems lovely, I like him, and he's never said torture is okay, so... yay! But this whole instance has showed how this WoW token pay-to-win boosting conversation is not going anywhere. And I think eventually Blizz are going to have to actually be pretty candid on exactly how they view and feel about those elements that now definitely exist in the game. So in summary, overall, I approve of the WoW token. I think it's very consumer friendly. It does introduce elements into the game which I believe are pay to win, which is incredibly bad, like max level bind on equip items. Those just shouldn't be in the game anymore. Problem solved. And when it comes to boosting, it's a much more delicate and nuanced conversation, which actually I really enjoy having, and I think we should be able to have in the community with Blizzard's input, and that's the thing that's missing right now. Sorry, I wasn't going to talk about this because I thought it would have all have blown over by the time we came to make this episode, but clearly I was wrong, and it's genuinely something that I would like to hear your opinions on in the comments below. Hello, it is Past Taliesin again here now to say thank you for watching today, and I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did enjoy it, don't thank me, thank our patrons who give their actual real life money to make all of our work happen. And genuinely, patrons, thank you. Without you, it'd be a whole lot less Taliesin Evitel. If you didn't enjoy it, downvote the shit out of it. Remember, my name is Taliesin. Yeah, I can own it.